Hi YouTube, and welcome back to all my Buster buddies. It's your big kahuna here, Brad, and this is Brad's Boredom Busters, your textile art channel. This is a channel where we have fun with fabric. Hey, and on this episode we are going to be continuing with our ice dye projects. Yes, this is continuing What Can I Ice Dye? And this is going to be an ice dye of a lotus flower mandala. So in the past we've now done the star flower, and then we did the Ron star, and now we're doing our basic lotus flower mandala. This should be a pretty easy one to fold up, and I think we should have some nice results on the ice dye. So what you're going to need for this project is a 100% cotton t-shirt, white. You'll need to pre-wash that first, and then after that soak it in soda ash water for at least 20 minutes. Then put it in your washer to spin out all the excess moisture so it's just slightly damp and ready to be folded up. The other items that you'll need for this fold are sinew and then either kite string or rubber bands, because we'll scrunch up the back of the shirt and tie it off. I'll be using rubber bands. I've got all that done, so we can head over to my work table and start folding the lotus flower mandala. We'll see you there. Okay, Busters, so here we are at the work table. I have my shirt prepped. It's been pre-washed, soaked in soda ash water, spun out. It's ready to be folded. I have it inside out also already. And so now what we need to do for the lotus flower mandala is center the front of the shirt so we can do the airplane fold. So we will mark here at the bottom hem and at the collar. Okay, so let's center the shirt now. Oh, the other thing we'll need for this pattern is a washable marker. And I said earlier we're tying it off with sinew and then also scrunching, and I'm going to be using rubber bands to gather up the back. Okay, there we go. So we're all centered, pulled the sleeve into the opposite sleeve, and it's all laid flat. We've got no wrinkles underneath. So we're ready to start our airplane fold. Determine where you want the center of your mandala. I usually, like I say, maybe go a little bit more at the bottom, not quite 2/3, 1/3, but you know, that general idea. So, but a little lower than the armpit, about there. And then we can start our fold. So just kind of hang on to that point, and we start the airplane fold. Now, one thing that I find, I mean, it's not too difficult to pinch it and pull it together to flip it over, but let me show you one other method that might make it easier for some of you to do this fold. By taking a ruler and just bring it underneath here, lining up the edge with this part of the fold, and bring that up. And then you can pinch that off and then let go of the ruler. And like I say, that might make it a little easier for some of you to grab it and turn it over so you can continue the airplane fold. Alright, so you've got 2 folds on one side, 3 on the other. So you take where it's the 2 fold, take the top one, bring it to the side that's closest to you then, And the ruler is also helpful for smoothing out wrinkles if you get it when you make that second fold. Because the fabric's thicker, it tends to want to wrinkle when you make that fold. And just double check you don't have any wrinkles. Okay, so that's your airplane fold. Now at this point, like I say, if you've been watching any of my previous ice dive videos that we've been doing a few of, the last one was the Ron Star, and you tied off here and you just kept flipping the shirt back over onto itself. This one's much simpler, and what you normally do with this is draw out kind of your pattern. So here's my collar. So you want the point of the shirt to finish at the collar. Then we lay out from the collar down. And so like I say, it's just simple zigzag lines. And these are only referenced. I may not actually end up tying right on each line, but it just gives you a reference, like I say, where to kind of start going with everything. Okay, so now we need our sinew. Tie a little slip knot in that. And then we can start off here at the bottom. And so now we're just going to be folding along, like I say, generally on these lines. And I find, for me personally, it helps if I do just one wrap, kind of cinch that down a little bit so it locks into the fabric here. That way, when I finish doing, more wraps around it, it doesn't slip back down the shirt. So I try to lock it in first. And then we can give it a little snug. Then you can do 2 or 3 more wraps around it so we can lock it in. And so when we dye it, we end up with our white lines. All right, and then we just keep doing that all the way up the shirt. Just going, trying to lock that in initially. That's basically it. We'll just do that all the way up, and so you can watch me tie this off. Enjoy the music. All right, so let me show you one other thing here before we get going too much deeper into this, because this is something that I find helps me to keep the points where the sinews come together close to each other. Otherwise, one end could slide up and you'll have a bit of a gap there. And that's kind of up to you. It'll give you a different look when it's finished. But if you want them to really come together tightly, let me show you a little trick that I find is helpful for me. Like I say, kind of lock it into where you want it there, but then come around your previous wrap and then go back to where you want it to be, and then give that a pull. And then it's kind of locked in good there, so you can continue back and forth just on that diagonal. So I hope that makes sense. Like I say, I'll do that a few more times so you can see it. The other thing is, when we get wider, then it helps to actually kind of make a little bit of a fold in there. Okay, so that is our Lotus flower mandala. And the rest of it I'm going to open up and just scrunch. So bear with me while we get that done. So the other thing I like to do, even on ice dyes or liquid dyes on these, I don't like this hanging loose, because invariably you'll get this color onto this part of the shirt, or whatever color is here bleeds there. So I like to take that and get that banded out of the way. Just like that. And then the rest of it we can scrunch, but now I know that at least that won't flop over onto the mandala. Okay, Busters, that's all there is to that. That one's pretty quick and easy to tie up. Let me set up my tub for the ice dye, and we'll be back in just a second for you. All right, Busters. So I've got my tub set up for ice dye, shirts here. Let me run over the colors real quick that we're going to be using, and then we'll lay the lids in here so you can see which color I'm applying as I'm applying it. But we're going to be using today electric blue, thistle blossom, misty gray, wet sands, and bright yellow. All Dharma colors. Okay, so you can watch me apply the dye. Enjoy the music. Okay, Busters, so now we got all the dye on. Let's sprinkle it with a little dry soda ash before we put the ice on. Alright, get the ice dam around it. And then we can secure the ice dam with some clothespins just to keep the shape we want. I think that'll hold it. Alright, so now I'm ready for the ice, so let me go grab that. We'll get that on. Okay, Busters, so there's all the ice. So I'll let that sit and melt, and I'll see what kind of saturation I have. I'll check the bottom, and a lot of times, because I apply a lot of dye, because these folds are rather thick, so I want to have enough dye to be able to go through all of it. And so I will probably put a second application of ice, because there'll be enough undissolved dye on top that it will warrant having another application of ice. And so then after the second application of ice, I'll double check it for saturation. And if I'm happy with that, I'll let it sit for at least 24 hours. And then after it's cured for its 24 hours, it will go into the laundry sink, and we'll rinse it out. Start with cold water to flush out the excess soda ash, and then we'll turn it up to hot to flush out any of the dye that hasn't bonded with the shirt yet. And then it'll go into the laundry on a hot wash cycle with detergent and Curelon, which is a professional textile detergent that I get from Dharma Trading Company. And then after it's washed and dried, we'll bring it back here for the reveal. So I will see you at the reveal. All right, Busters, here's the result of the Lotus Flower Mandala. Hey, I think this is a winner. Yeah, so far on these ice dye projects, we are 3 for 3. So I think this really came out well. I love this little lavender around here, and then the yellow, everything has got great saturation. Really, Squirt? Hi. You helping? Yeah? Yep, it looks like it meets with the supervisor's approval. Yeah, I love the way these colors came out. Some color splits here. It's really just beautiful. And the back is really nice too. Yeah, it kind of gives you this color peacocky kind of feel. So yeah, it's really, this is a winner. Very happy with this. Yeah, leave me some comments. Let me know what you think of this one. I know so far all the others everyone seems to really like, so tell me what you think about this one. And then our next project will be the 18-point mandala, so stay tuned for that. Yep, make sure you come back and see that one. Hey, if you like this project though, please give me a big thumbs up. Share my videos around, that really helps me out. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. All right, let's head over to the desk for a sign off. Thank you very much. All right, Busters, that project came out really cool. Hey, I hope you learned something new on this project. Hey, if you really liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming projects. And hey, if you really want to help out my channel, go to my Buy Me a Coffee page and buy me a coffee. That really helps me out. Hey, all right, thanks for watching. Love you all, folks. Peace out, baby, and go bust out some art.